riding a mountain bike down a hill isn't quite like that, is it? It's about putting it all together.
I think there is a certain piece, a certain tracks to certain skills. The trail has got a certain flow.
Good.
Let's talk about the fact the trail that you know
Yeah.
and the trail that you don't know.
Yeah.
The main mistake of average rider, the main mistake is to believe that to ride fast, you need to pedal to accelerate.
I mean, mountain biking, we're taught kind of skills. We're taught how to go around corners. We're taught how to do cambers and all these things. They're all sort of isolated events, whereas riding a mountain bike down a hill isn't quite like that, is it? It's about putting it all together. So I want to talk about this. That's what I want to talk about, that idea of it not being isolated events, really, and what you think about that.
Do you just want me to speak? Because I can go forever.
I know, yeah, just go on forever. This has got 3 hours.
It's just it.
Yeah.
I try to perform myself always to try to be as fast on the bike in DH. You know my background, you know where I come from, and I learn how to corner, I learn how to jump, I learn how to have the good position on the bike, and I know how to have the maximum speed at each certain point.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to actually link everything and put everything back to bike, you realize that there is a bunch of parameters that are getting in consideration, that this actual speed might be slower or faster just because the trail has got a certain flow.
So, yeah.
If you don't get that flow, you will obviously get in the situation where you use more energy, and if you use more energy, you're not in the optimum position.
Yeah.
I'm going to explain you something quickly that will resume everything we're going to say. And this is general.
So we can have dinner before 8 o'clock.
For life, that's not going to happen. We're not going to be at dinner with them. Is that it's general in life.
Yeah.
It's true on bike, and it's especially true for riding trails. Is that you can give the maximum of yourself at each moment of life. But every time that you want to have an action that is going on and on and on, we're talking about optimum and not maximum.
Okay.
So when you get into this situation,
you mean it has to be sustainable throughout, all the way down the trail?
we're going to talk philosophy out there, dude. We're going to talk like philosophy, because maximum is what is happening in rationality. Optimum is what's coming when you're capable to put your heart into it, and your instinct, and your feeling.
Yeah.
I wrote your article, and I wrote the news, and I got your feeling, and I love all the sayings that you are bringing there. And this is proper journalism.
Yeah.
And that's why I love what you're writing.
But what I wrote?
Yeah.
Oh, you read it?
You sent me. For sure I wrote it. Dude, I'm not full of shit.
Okay,
We're working,
so,
I wrote it.
Yeah. So I mean, okay, I hear what you're saying, but surely in World Cup terms, you put absolute maximum. Surely it kind of mean, where does, I don't want to go into this maximum optimum because it's over my head. I don't know.
No, you don't give maximum. There is no place for maximum.
Okay, let's go.
Maximum is taking in one parameter that is out of your control. It's luck.
We'll talk about luck. We'll talk about luck and risk later. So can we just rewind a little bit? So what you said earlier is about a track has flow. Do you think that there is a certain speed to certain tracks?
I think there is a certain piece, certain tracks to certain skills. That means that every time that you get into the equation of riding a trail, there is few parameters.
Yeah.
And all those parameters need to come in one piece to get to the optimum.
Yeah.
Even if that's above your head.
Let's put it another way then. Do you think there's a code to be broken on tracks? Like you need to break the code of how to get the optimum speed down that hill. Does that make sense?
For sure, for sure you have to break the code of the theory. For one reason is that every time I take the example of every time I'm trying to get someone to progress, how to ride, you get into the situation where you end up with a person that's got a certain capacity of technicity on the bike. And if you want to reset those capacities, if you take them at 80%, let's say that 100% is maximum speed, they are at 80%, and you want to bring them at 90, if you don't go back down at 50, you're never going to go back up at 90. You will never go further because this theory is blocking the wall. If you want to break the code, it means that you need to reset all your basics on your bikes and work on your theory at your 50%, at your 60%. But then there is the last step, that is instinct riding.
Yeah.
That is instinct riding that will bring you to reach the real evolution.
Yeah.
Instinct riding means that every time you want to make a step into your riding abilities, you need to understand it, you need to apply it, and once it's applied, you need to feel it. And those 3 steps.
Believe it, feel it, do it.
I know you probably have your saying in English, but
it's the same thing.
Yeah,
you have
so
to believe it. And it's okay.
If you think, hey, if you think about what you have to do, you're done.
Yeah.
You can sink in downhill. I give you an example. You can sink in downhill. I've been methodical in my approach. I've been learning my trail. I know all my lines. I know the position I want to have in those lines, and I do my visualization. Everyone saw me in the past going, seeing the corner, his position, and you repeat it.
It's a bit like a musician. Like
It's
a
a
musician. Well, there's 2 types of musicians.
So you repeat it. You repeat it until it becomes natural.
There's 2 types of musician. No, there's like the concert pianist who learns it,
yeah.
or there's the jazz musician who does it instinctively.
Yeah.
And I think it's a bit of both, isn't it? I mean, let's talk about World Cup downhill and World Enduro Series. 2 different kind of things.
You come to my point.
Yeah.
Let's not talk competition.
Okay.
But
Good.
Let's talk about the fact the trail that you know and the trail that you don't know.
Yeah.
A trail that you know, you are capable to pick up some movement that will provide you speed, that will provide you a certain momentum. But the excellence of riding is to be capable to come in a trail you don't know, to read it, to anticipate it, and to feel the terrain.
Yeah, and this is the skill I think people aren't taught. I think it's a really important one.
But that's not the important one. That's the base of mountain biking.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Because everyone is capable to take a BMX track and learn a jump and jump it 10 times and take a downhill track. You will reach your maximum.
Yeah.
You will reach your maximum with your capacity, with the technology on your bike, with the condition of the terrain. You will reach your maximum.
Yeah.
But reaching the optimum on a trail that you don't know, with your instinct, with your reading, with all your feelings, what's happening in your hand, in your feet, with what you're reading, with the air, with all the condition that you have, is the proper excellence.
Yeah.
Right?
It's interpretation, isn't it? Of interpretation of the track and its instinct of how to use the shapes of the track to generate power as well. I mean, you don't always have to have pedal strokes. A lot of the time, it's about you see something, you think.
What was the first thing that you noticed following Jerome today or following myself?
It was good, actually. Yeah.
What's the first thing you noticed?
I think timing. It's doing things in the right place.
But what are we not doing that you do?
Actually, we won't talk about the bottom part of the track today. That was shocking.
No, but what I'm trying to tell you, to make you say, is that we don't pedal.
No, it's just power generation.
We pedal a lot less.
You pedal in the right places.
We pedal when we need to, and when it doesn't bring you a maximum effort to pedal to. You generate when you can. The main mistake of average rider, is to believe that to ride fast, you need to pedal to accelerate.
But I think you do need all-round power, body power, to do that.
Yeah, but sometimes an impulsion from your hip,
for example,
is going to provide you more speed than trying to pedal.
Yeah. For example, at the bottom part of the track today, I was losing speed because my overall physicality is not good. It needs to be kind of up there. So I think there is a degree of
but
physicality.
We're going to talk about something that you don't like. But a 29er generates less speed than a 26.
Well, we won't go into that.
No. We're not going into that. But a 29er carries speed when a 26 generates speed, and in some tracks one is an advantage, and some other the other is the advantage.
Yeah.
And that's true because with a smaller radius of wheel, every time you have a little lump that you can push and press,
Yeah.
you will generate speed.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're not getting into that.
We won't go into that.
But what I'm saying is that when we talk about flow, there is a certain touch to the terrain that you need to have, you need to read, you need to feel
You have to feel it.
actually
Yeah.
generate speed with your bike with little movement that is not pedaling.
It's very subtle.
Shoulder movement,
Yeah.
hip movement,
Yeah.
heel pressure, handlebar pressure,
Shape of the ground.
and using the shape of the ground to play with the terrain.
Yeah.
What is water doing when it goes down the river?
Well, it does different things. There's pools and it has rapids.
And
So-
and it use the terrain to actually commit and create every time what it needs to go down.
Yeah.
And basically,
I mean, that's what it comes down to. I think people's capacity to interpret terrain varies massively, and I've seen this even amongst you guys, amongst kind of the top 3 or 5 World Cup riders, knowing kind of when and where to do it. Would you agree with that?
yeah, I think there is different parameters. And for me, you can take a Minor, you can take a Pete, you can take a Nico Vouilloz back in the years. The skills, the terrain, and the technology of the bike you're riding is bringing all parameters to do a certain movement in a fraction of second at a certain place.
Yeah.
And all those little movement cannot be rational because they are too quick, and it's a feeling that is completely different than rationality. And that's where
It's like music, isn't it?
it comes down to skills.
Yeah.
Skills is not learning something permanently. It's to be capable to feel what is going on. And I always compare our sport to skiing. And someone that is capable to feel the density of the snow, if it's warm, if it's hard, if it's really ice, if it's not, and that it's capable to put the exact pressure that is needed to corner. Pushing hard to corner, everyone is capable, but finding the exact pressure that will allow you to corner without slowing you down, that's the skier that go fast. That's the one that will arrive with the little speed, extra speed that will make the difference at the bottom. And for downhill, for enduro, it's the exact same feeling.
Right. Spot on. Do you know, I think you covered it there. Right. Let me stop that. Right.